Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, Happy New Year. It is Monday, January 4th, 2021. Praise God. It is 8:30 to 5 something in the AM. And I am headed to work. Oh, and welcome to another day in the daily life of Jay. It has been, what do I even want to call it? That's really what it's been. A tiring last 12 hours. The husband is in the hospital. I took him there about 8:30 last night. Why am I going this way? Because I'm not getting on the freeway. Not this morning. It's been a tiring 12 hours. I took him to the ER about 8:30 last night. I didn't get home. I didn't get to leave the hospital until about just after midnight. Got home about 12:30. And got home about 12:30. Couldn't fall asleep until after 1. And even then I was like, you know what? Let me just lay here until my body says I can't do this anymore. I'm just gonna lay here. And that's what I did. But then I woke up about 5:45, I think it was, this morning to go to the restroom. And then got back in the bed, and my alarm went off at 6:30. My second alarm went off at 6:45. I'm laying in the bed, just laying there. And then I said, you know what, I need to start moving around, but let me call the husband first before I start moving around. And before I could even call him, I pick up the phone and I see there's a text message, and I'm like, it must be him, wondering why I haven't called yet. It turns out he had actually called me, but I didn't hear the phone ring because I had the phone on silent. And the phone was on silent because I made a video yesterday, and I put my phone on silent to record the video. Even though I didn't use my phone to do it, I had the phone with me, so I put it on silent so it wouldn't ring or vibrate while I was doing the video. And I forgot all about it. Recorded the video, started trying to work on the video. Actually, it was a live, but I downloaded the live and started trying to edit and work on it. I had done a video prior to the live. I didn't like the way the video was going, so that's what made me do a live instead. And then it was a whole thing. So needless to say, I forgot to put the phone back on vibrate, because that's where I kind of keep it, even though now it's on a ring. But I forgot to put the phone back on vibrate, and so I did not know he called until I picked up the phone and read his text message, which was not a nice one. And he was extremely emotional this morning, And I guess I can understand, because, and we talked about this a little bit last night, it's not that he can't be alone, he doesn't like to be alone. And because he's having so many issues with communication right now, he's very unsure of himself. He's not as secure as he would like to be. So he's used to me doing the talking and all of that with the doctors and everything. And so he was just really emotional this morning. And he kind of wanted to argue because he's also frustrated by the fact that he's still sitting in the ER triage areas. Well, not triage, but in the ER in the beds, instead of being in a room, which is where we thought he would be by now, since they decided to keep him. We are both frustrated by that, but at the very same time, I can fully understand why there may not be any beds, because we are in the middle of a pandemic still, and the numbers are steadily rising, and people are steadily being admitted for the virus. So those who have other issues are having a hard time not getting the treatment that they need, but being placed in a room to get the treatment that they need. So right now he's in a room in the ER until they get a room for him on one of the main floors. I am grateful that it is not for the virus that he's there, but at the same time, it's concerning, because I know that's most likely why they are full right now. But so yeah, I have not gotten very much sleep. I'm going on probably 4.5, 5 hours, probably. And oh Jesus, okay. They weren't blowing at me, but it was right beside me. So yeah, probably 4.5 to 5 hours. Like I said, I didn't fall asleep until after 1, and then I woke up. And then I woke up about 5:45, and then got back in the bed and let the alarm clocks go off. So I did not eat breakfast this morning, which sucks because I'm used to that. But at the same time, I wasn't going to rush anything. And I just decided, I told you guys about the meal replacement. By the time you see this, you would have seen that video where I mentioned the meal replacement. This is why I bought the meal replacement, for days like this, where it's tough for me to eat when I'm supposed to. Having the meal replacement, or knowing that I'm going to have an occasion where I most likely won't eat a certain meal, which is usually lunchtime, but sometimes it's breakfast, like this morning. So I have coffee, which I don't normally drink, even though I've been drinking it more lately. When I say lately, I mean like within the last year. I've had more coffee in the last year than I've had in probably the 10 years prior. But I always doctor it up so that it doesn't taste like coffee. So what I have in here now is some caramel vanilla coffee. The meal replacement, I can taste it. It's nasty. It's not as bad as it could be. It could be a lot worse. Caramel vanilla coffee, collagen, caramel vanilla, salted caramel creamer, my collagen meal replacement, my cocoa nibs, salted caramel creamer, and a little bit of caramel syrup. A little bit of caramel syrup, salted caramel syrup. Come on, you guys, let's go. So I just blended that all together. In hopes. I didn't use my chia because the meal replacement actually has chia in it, which is good. That's good. And again, if you see me chewing, and I say this in almost every video where I have a blended drink, if you see me chewing, if I've put the cocoa nibs in, cacao nibs, that's what I'm chewing on. Because they don't, especially if I have a cold drink, they don't blend up very well. And if I'm drinking something hot or warm, they only melt down a little bit, not a lot. Cacao nibs are actually very sturdy. Very sturdy. So that's been my last 12 hours. That's been my last 12 hours. And like I said, Happy New Year. I pray that you had an amazing New Year's Eve. I pray that you are well. And if you are not, that you are in recovery fairly soon, that you have a total healing. A total healing. No residue. Total and complete. Total and complete. No residue of the illness. As far as my COVID journey, COVID update, I am only coughing sporadically. It's not a very common cough, which I'm grateful for, because I know that there's still people that are battling that even though they've been healed of COVID. I'm still fatigued. I am still tired, even when I know that I've gotten sleep. I'm still tired, so that's still something that I'm dealing with. And although my sense of smell and my sense of taste of Beretta, I ain't seen a Beretta in how long? Chevy Beretta, that is. Although my senses of smell and taste have come back, they're not back 100%. So there are things that I'm still, I won't even say struggling with, but there's still some things that I'm not able to taste or smell. Like yesterday, I made a full, as my husband called it, Sunday dinner. And he was talking about how good it smelled, but I had a very difficult time smelling it. A very difficult time smelling it. I could smell, what could I smell? I could smell like the pork chops cooking. But the thing that I thought that I would smell the most, I did not, which was the sweet potatoes. I baked some fresh sweet potatoes, not canned. I cut up, I got another vegetable peeler, praise God, and I peeled them and sliced them up and put butter in there. And he made the husband, because he did actually help me some yesterday in the kitchen, which I was appreciative of. But he made like a glaze. So we poured the glaze over it, put them in the oven, and baked them. The one thing that we forgot to do was use a thickener so that the glaze was heavier when it was baking, so that the glaze got thicker while it was baking. But anyway, so we baked them, and then we put marshmallows on them and let the marshmallows, put put them back in so that the marshmallows could get toasted. And there was so much. We gotta find a mid-ground, because we've done it like this before, and before there wasn't enough marshmallows. Excuse me, but this time there were too many marshmallows, if there is such a thing. So we got more marshmallow on our plates than we did potatoes. But it was still good. But I thought that I would be able to smell that because of the vanilla and the cinnamon and the brown sugar. But I didn't smell it as much as I would have liked to. But I did smell, like I said, the pork chops. And it could be, this is what I've noticed for anyone that is out there battling this. And it was told to me after I said it. I was talking to someone else, I was talking to my middle son about my taste. And he's like, so that is really a real thing? And I said, yeah, it is. It's truly a real thing. But I told him that it was starting to come back, and what I was able to taste more than anything was salt. So in order for me to taste the sweet, it has to be almost sickeningly sweet. But salt I could taste. And he was telling me that, yes, someone else told him that too. And I think because the pork chops they were really very well seasoned, because the husband seasoned them. He overdoes it on the seasoning to the point where it's typically too much for me. But because he did the seasoning, I was able to smell the salt in everything that was on there. But because with the sweet potatoes, it was more the sugary stuff, I wasn't really able to smell that as much. Now, after it was cooked and it was on my plate and sitting in front of me, yeah, I could smell it. I could smell it. But while it was cooking, I could not. So know that if you are battling COVID and you have lost your senses of smell and taste, as they are coming back, there are still going to be some things that you don't smell as prominently as you used to, or that you don't taste as prominently as you used to. You may taste a little bit of it, you may smell a little bit of it, but it may not come back as prominently as it used to be. That's something I've noticed. So don't worry about it. It is, what I'm finding, it is a common thing. It is a common thing. I am going to do a separate video talking about giving a COVID update, because I noticed, it's so funny. I felt sick before I felt sick. So I really, in all truthfulness, I could have been positive for COVID for much longer than I knew. And that might be why it seemed that my recovery was so quick, because I may have had it a whole lot longer than I knew. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because I noticed back in November, some things going on with me. I even mentioned it in a video where I talk about my whole left side aching me. My left side, even though it's the more dominant side, is now the weaker side. And I realized that my whole left side was aching. I got sick with some stomach issues and thought that I had gone septic again, had a blood infection again, and was actually going to go to the ER because I didn't know what was going on. And then I started feeling better. My mood had shifted so much. So I was a lot more snippy than I usually am. And I noticed that my neck appeared to be really swollen. And I noticed it looking in the mirror, and I was like, okay, I'm bloated. I was thinking that that's what it was. I was bloated. And even right before the week that I took, the week before I took the test, I talked about how bloated I felt. And I was watching some videos over the week, over the holiday, and realized that I could actually see in some of the videos how bloated my neck was, how swollen my neck was. So I'm looking at all of this, I'm taking notes of all of this stuff because I wanted to take notes to do the full video, the full update video with all of the signs and the symptoms that I had prior to and all of that great stuff. But I noticed in watching the videos how this had gone on for at the very least a month before I felt sick enough to say, oh, this is more than a cold. Let me go get tested. What is this? COVID. Oh, they're doing testing. Okay. I was going somewhere with that, and I can't remember where I was going now. Jesus, bring it back. But in the meantime, I will say that I did notice it prior to. I did notice it prior to. So if you are, I was talking about the taste buds. If you are recovering and you did lose your, in my research, that's what I was saying. If you are battling and recovering from COVID, rather, and you lost your sense of taste and smell, just know that what I found in my research of all of this was that it's common that it takes a while for it to come back fully. Just like it's common for it to take a while for you to get your ability to breathe without it being laborious. It takes a while for your energy to come back fully. Even though you no longer have full-on symptoms of COVID, even though you are no longer COVID positive, I found that it takes a while for you to get back to 100% okay. So yeah, don't be afraid, don't freak out, know that it's common and that it's going to take a while, and that in all honesty, you should allow it to take the time that it needs to take. Because just like with anything, it just takes your body time to heal. And it took me a whole year when I had my last surgery. And the fact that I had 2 surgeries almost back to back in the same year within 3 months of each other, not even within 3 months of each other. It took my body a whole year and then some to fully recover. And even now, I still have some residual discomfort from the surgeries in the belly area, because that's where the surgeries were. But know that it's going to take some time for your body to heal, so don't freak out. Now, I will say, if it makes you feel better to go to a doctor and just make sure that everything is okay, then do that. Because I'm not a medical professional, and I don't want you to take my advice as a solid, as the end-all be-all. But just know that it's going to take you a little bit of time to recover. It's just like if you broke a bone, it would take you some time to recover, and you still may have some residual effects of that broken bone. Like when I fell and used my hand to keep from hitting my face, that's been it's been 2 months now since that happened, just about. And I really think that I did crack something, and I'm still dealing with pain in my thumb. I still deal with it being inflamed and a little puffy. I still, even if my thumb is not hurting, from time to time I will all of a sudden have a sharp pain in my thumb, and I could just be sitting there and all of a sudden it's there. So I know that I have a high potential of developing arthritis in my thumb because I have fallen and most likely cracked the bone. So it's going to take a while to heal. So don't freak out. Please don't freak out. You will be all right. But again, if it makes you feel better, if it offers you a level of comfort to go to your doctor and get checked out, then do that, please. Because I would rather you be safe. I would rather you know for sure what's going on with you than you not, and there be something more serious. I am actually very surprised that I was able to make it the whole commute without the husband calling me. They are going to take him today for an MRI. They're going to take him for an MRI to make certain that it's not another stroke, because he has had one of those. Or as the doctor explained to me as I was leaving the house, it could be not necessarily another stroke, but residue from the previous stroke, which I'd never heard of before, but he was explaining it to me, and he says it may not be a stroke, but it could be the after effects, or if you will, the aftershock of his previous stroke, and him still having his body still reacting to that. So yeah, they're going to do the MRI to be certain about what that is, and we go from there. So I'm surprised that the husband did not call while I was on my commute, but I am here now. I pray that you have an amazing day. I am working on some really good stuff right now. I've gotten quite a bit of new equipment in to help me do some things. There are only 2 more things left that I want to buy, and I'm not buying either one of them anytime soon, so I will make do with what I have. But I am working on some really good stuff. Like I said, I did my live yesterday. I wrote my blog, I did my live. The video will be up on my pro channel. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to get it up there. It was just a fiasco trying to get it done yesterday. For whatever reason, it was just a fiasco. So hopefully, I left the computer going when I left, formatting the video. So hopefully when I get home, it will be completed, and I'll be able to go ahead and post the video on my live. And then I will, if I can get it done, I will be able to attach it to this video, I think. I'm not sure when this video is going up, because I know I have one for today, and I know I have one for tomorrow. I don't remember if I have anything scheduled for the rest of the week, but I do know absolutely that I've got one for today and tomorrow. Today should already be up. Today, if you will, is like I said, the 4th of January. So there's one that went live at 7 this morning. There's one that's scheduled to go live at 7 tomorrow. And that's what I'm trying to do. Keep them consistent on the times, even if the consistency on the days is not there. You should have had a week's worth of videos at this point. So depending on what I've got scheduled for the rest of this week, what I will do is attach the videos entitled "The Struggle is Real." I will attach that video to this one so that you can go take a look at that one too. It's a great video, I think. And I will just tell you that I heard someone else say the struggle is real, but then they added something to it, and what they added to it got me to thinking, and that thinking pricked me to write a blog article. And then I did the video, but I had such a hard time with the video that I decided to just do it as a live and download that and format that instead. So that's what I did. So, all right, it's time for me to get in here. It's past time for me to get in here. It's 9:04. With that, peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.